regards to training, concerning the level of start training, why not, like you said, know that I can't give them because they are not responsive to change. They won't change them for the new what's coming next. So I think regards to training, the level you start at, you should begin with the tertiary students. They have been more responsive to new technologies and things that come up. And for example, in Legon where I am, they brought in this technology where students can access their bank details and make transactions through their student's ID card. I think the same way the ATM card works and something like that, because they fuse it with the ID card and everything, so it matches their details and they can do transactions just like the bank would. So I think with regards to the level that you start with, I think tertiary students will be the best because they are more responsible.
How about those already in the IT industry? Like,
I mean, knowledge is something that you always want to have more. I think it's a good idea. You want to actually learn. But then, the way, I don't know if I'm wrong, but the way I perceive user experience is quite different from what someone else would perceive user experience. So, if you could find a way to bring different thoughts on how things should be, then possibly yes. But I think you should be as dynamic as possible if this thing is going to work. It should be as dynamic as possible. And it should be, I think it should be industry focused too. It shouldn't be one solution for all. Say tech, pharmaceuticals, education. It should be industry focused, and that will go a long way into helping the deciding the curriculum you're going to use in these things also. So that's what I'm talking about.
okay, that's quite insightful. Does anyone want to add anything else?
I think that there's going to be a difficulty there if the target of the training is not clearly defined. Because if the training is targeted at guys who are already practicing, they may feel that, for example, to acquire a certificate in UX, if I use that money to buy a subscription on, say, Safari Online, and because most developers in Ghana actually, a lot of them are self-taught. Whether they learn development skills or other business of software entrepreneurship in school, they have this habit of learning on their own. So my advice would be that if you're working with companies, for example, target maybe marketing, sales, because these and people who are first to meet the customer, so customer care executives. So you train people in customer care, service quality, people in marketing, people in sales, so that as part of their daily job schedule, they learn how to pick up the user's pains and then bring it back into the company to affect the strategy going forward. Because for us as a team, I mean, for the product development and innovation team at Capital Bank, it's very interesting. This week I started reading UX, you know, and I've been studying Lean for maybe 2 years now. The difficulty I have, which the startup will have, is for us, for that to happen, we need to change everything and put it into policy. You know, because in a big organization, when you are being a maverick, you already have a target painted on your back. So, but we necessarily, through our discussions, through our research, through our studies, we already doing it. We've started implementing Agile development. It's very difficult because we have old projects, so we're now trying to grow some of those projects. But for new products now, you need to have a user stories. You need to have a product owner. There's a lot of things we are getting right now, so that you're not going to spend hours when you're spending with family building solutions which really the customer doesn't want. So what we would like, I mean, speaking personally, would be to talk to marketing, train them, service quality, because they have people in the call center. So someone calls, I try to do this. Then as part of that, They begin to ask questions. Oh, what did you try to do that you went wrong? Did you do this? They know the right questions to ask. They know how to communicate that customer feedback back to the product development team, then back to marketing, back to whichever function is responsible for rolling out the next product. And then that would help. So that would be my advice.
So once again, it's been very exciting. We'll take that to board, definitely. Just to conclude, are there any other contributions you'd like to add and you think which we have omitted?
I just want to ask a question. So, who are you targeting? I just want to get a sense of right now, are you particularly targeting any particular people? Like, are you targeting, say, corporate people? Are you targeting startups? Do you have anybody in mind when you speak of?
Okay, so going forward, the entire market is our focus. But to break it down, yes, startups are one of the immediate people we want to start working with because of one, the very peculiar, challenges. I mean, you spoke about not having, huge cash to invest in some of these technologies and, usability testing and stuff like that. It might not necessarily be so. We are a very open, collaborative posture going forward, where we think that, you might not necessarily have to pay for a usability testing because you're a startup, but we can make the technology or services available for you to use. It's not a charity, but we can work with you in a way that says that in the future, when this technology or this service we have provided has served your purpose, okay, we can have a collaborative approach, business-wise. So that is the approach towards startups, because we know the challenge of, needing money to do some of these things. At the very, very, very big corporate clients, well, they exist. They're already doing something. So anything you propose to them will be like, okay. For the most part, and from what we have gathered even prior to this workshop, is, okay, what is this new thing people are talking about? How does it help us? And like he spoke about, there are already, entrenched usage of legacy systems and ways of doing things there. So the approach is to say, you can save cost, you can save money in so many ways. Because we spoke about, return on investments and stuff like that, and profit and all that. So if you can reduce your losses by a certain percentage, and if this technology or service provides that, how would that be a challenge for you? I don't really see it, but obviously we know that there's going to be some resistance. I mean, we shouldn't kid ourselves. But we are determined to introduce it. Aside pushing this to, corporate, and corporate, by corporate I mean any kind of business. It could be in any industry. It could be banking, it could be farming, it could be, and it's not just about apps, websites, softwares, and so on. Consumer buying behavior, retail shops, and so on. These days we have a lot of malls coming up, and there's a lot of influx of people there during the weekend. People just go there to shop. But it would be good for a shop to know that, okay, with this traffic, if we did this way, I mean, by making this example, I don't want to give out too much because it will mean that I will say something proprietary. But the point is, this works for a vast range of branding, advertising. And with this new age of digital marketing and the likes, we think that there's a lot of opportunity to do a lot of things. Now, what is critical here, we didn't probably mention earlier, is that there's a research component of all what we're trying to do. In fact, that is more critical than any of the business things. Because what we want to do is that we want to spearhead the conversation towards user experience in every way. So both in institutions and then academia. So that is where students come in, as far as what you were saying was concerned, training. We probably want to introduce what we want to do, because we don't expect people to swallow it just on face value. But we want to be able to prove at the different levels that this actually works. It will make life much easier in different, areas of our life, especially in what we do on our daily basis as work. So this is our posturing towards, working within the Ghanaian space, possibly beyond. We have a very collaborative posture. We do not think that money necessarily has to prevent us from doing what we want to do, both for us and even for an intended collaborator. So we are very open to doing a lot of things. And we don't want to behave as if we know it all. We don't. And that has to be, very emphatic. We don't. We're very open to new technology because day by day, especially in the field of UX, there are so many evolving technologies. Because you'll be using eye tracking today, tomorrow probably for just one particular kind of even service. But tomorrow you might even think that a focus group is a better way, or think aloud protocol, or maybe galvanic skin response, another technology. That's still better. In some cases, you have to use a mix of the technologies and the techniques. But it still comes back to the very underlying fact. Whatever we do, will the clients be happy at the end of the day? That is essential. So this is our posture as Userhub Africa. And I think we are ready to work with everybody.
Right. If no further questions, we can get to one of the most important parts of the day.
Well, before that, maybe I realized that I could literally count the people who contributed. I would actually want to elicit around the table people's opinions because we really want it to be interactive. We know you guys have great ideas, but share with us. So we'll probably give everybody a minute or two just to share something about what they think we can do, advice, and paint a picture for us. I mean, it won't be bad to hear everybody say something. Is that a good plan?
It's 12 o'clock. Lunchtime.
We'll soon get there.
We'll soon get there. Okay,
Yes.
right. Okay.
So maybe we'll start from the very top. No, I'm talking. Yes. I mean, you have spoken much, but we'll still
so
start.
I have another question.
Yes,
Like,
great.
just stating one example. So Slack, one thing Slack did, I don't know if everybody knows, but so they outsourced their UI and UX
Yes.
to a company.
Yes.
So I just wanted to ask, are you also interested in, so after the UX, are you interested in, having something to say about the UI?
Yes. Yes.
Are you providing a comprehensive,
Yes.
or it's just really?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
That's it.
So you have designers.
Yes. Yes. Developers. Designers. Yeah. So there's a whole team. That. So ranging from designers to developers. In fact, to some people who have even done user experience, taking it to different fields in probably policy direction and so on. So this is not the whole representation of the team, really, we must say. Fumi is one of the team members we spoke to on Skype. There are two more we'll probably show you, we'll have over Skype, and they would give you perspective. You probably understand the whole picture at the end of the day. What we would want you to really enjoy is the typical, a typical research lab. There's a footage we would want you to see, which probably could, help all this talk. But that was a question, so now your point.
So, from my experience, I've seen that there's lots of guys with brilliant ideas, but they lack skills to say code, for instance.
Yes.
Right? So for those people, like I've met a lot of guys like that. For those people, if you could provide a solution where they have ideas and they can pay you, and you can practically build a product, do all the UI, UX, everything for them, and they can take to market. I mean, there's a sweet solution. So that's just something, an opportunity I've noticed. I'm sharing with you. So that'll make a lot of sense.
Yes. Okay. So we are coming this way. So
Okay, myself too, I think your research findings and your results will probably be your greatest assets in this endeavor, because to have data and data that makes sense, it's a lot of money. But I think you should also focus on acquiring data and making sense out of the data, because at the end people are
like Facebook, Google, those guys, they sell data to these companies. So I think we should really delve deeper into data collection analysis.
I'm not really the developer here. I deal mainly with the clients and the business aspect. So basically, you can try and find ways and means of making people have a better perspective of technology. Let them know how to appreciate it more. Make it easier, find ways and means of making it easier for them to, grasp whatever new you want to introduce onto the market.
Okay. So as far as user experience goes, I would say that it's something I've experienced in Ghana with bad user experience. I mean, I am a very tech savvy person. I'm what you call an early adopter. I'm always looking for the newest thing to grab my hand on and just test. And I think one thing that I used to do was IT audits, testing software for some governments and clients and so on. And from my experience, I've seen that there is not a lot of emphasis placed in design and user experience. It's most likely somebody says that I have a list of requirements, go and develop it for me and bring a solution. And then when I come in and I do the testing, user testing, I see that, oh no, this is not ready for market. I can see that they can put this out in the market and it's going to fail totally because the user experience is very bad. So like, for instance, let me just give a small example. I was doing testing for software for government. They're trying to implement this e-services, but it's a general online. And I was doing the testing on the back end. And from my experience, I can see that, oh no, the design aspect and the UI aspect, the user wasn't brought in the early development stage to test it. The user was brought at the end of it. So I can see that, oh no, when the end user is going to finally use this product, they're going to see that it's bad and they're not going to adopt it. And so that whole online aspect of that registered journal is not going to work. So I think that's something that User of Africa could bring to the table as far as trying to get good user experience design going, good user interface going, so that those type of products will actually come to market and the user base will adopt it. So that is my little 2 cents for everybody.
Yeah, I speak more as a customer. I think it's most important that the customer gets the best of experience. I think what you're bringing up is very brilliant, and at the end of the day, it's the customer that we are looking out for, and we're making sure that they have the best of everything around, and to that effect, and we come up with great products and services for them. So for me, it's brilliant.
Okay, so for me, what you guys are doing is a very good idea. I think you should have more of this. Go to the banks, interact with them, go to the telcos. As much as possible, go to most of the industries. Do a presentation, tell them about what you want to do, get feedback, and then use that to shape what you intend to do.
Okay, so for me, I think it's a brilliant idea, and I think that as a people, as Ghana, we need to move on. I'm